Hey, Sigrun.
Hi, Annemiek.
Hi, everyone watching, and sorry for those who have seen the starting point of the Facebook Live and then got cancelled out. The tech fairies of Facebook Live to play with us in the way that we wanted it to. So now we're recording this bit. I'm going to pop it into the group later on so that at least everybody can see and hear you too, Sigrun.
Yes.
Luckily, there's always another way, isn't there? Mm. So I'm here with Sigrun Saunderson. She's one of our certified soul-based coaches, as well as one of the trainers on the academy. And we were talking about the unusual questions that we use when it comes to soul-based coaching. And Sigrun, so I've been talking a little bit about this in the Facebook Live. That was a solo Facebook Live. About how important it is that the questions that we use, how much they determine how, what can happen for our coachees. And maybe it's even one of the most, important qualities that we have as coaches. So would you share a little bit about this with us, about the unusualness of the questions that we use and how your journey has been with them?
Mm-hmm. I heard several times from coachees before that these are strange questions, and they were all surprised. And they are. They're really unusual, as you call them. Other people would call them strange or even weird.
About to.
Yeah. And I was thinking about them because when I talk to other people and then I say, well, these questions make sure I only ask questions, first of all, and they make sure that you find out for yourself what's right for yourself. And then I hear, of course, coaches do only ask questions. And then I think, yeah. And still, our questions are different, very different.
Yeah, and I agree that coaches actually do many things except, other than asking questions. But yes, they are very different, aren't they? So I've shared with people already that the questions that we use are clean language questions. They are devised by David Grove in the 1980s, and so they're created in a way that means that as a coach, you cannot put your assumptions in your questions. And I don't know about you, but I always thought that I was pretty sensitive and pretty aware of what I was doing, and that I wasn't putting my assumptions in my questions, because of course you don't do that when you're wanting to coach. But I also know that only when I learned about these questions was I able to actually not put my stuff in there. And it felt crippling and difficult to begin with. But it's only then that I started to see, these are ways that we do put ourselves in there. Mm-hmm. Is that your experience as well?
Exactly. I mean, the way you're telling this is exactly it. You think you don't put anything in. I'm just asking a question. I'm asking you an open question, but it's not leading. In fact, nearly every question is leading in some way, unless it's a clean question.
Yeah. So let's see if we can come up with an example, right? Mm-hmm. For people to make it different. So if I came to you and I said that I struggled feeling that I just felt like so insecure most of the time, and I really wanted that to be different. That's a question that isn't a strange question because it does come up a lot for people. Mm-hmm. What kinds of questions would not be the ones that we ask?
I would not ask you, and why do you think you are so insecure? or I would not ask you, and what do you think would help you out of this?
Mm. Yeah. What else would we not ask? Have you always been this insecure? Is another one that we wouldn't ask, is it?
Yeah.
Or why do you think this happens for you? You know, all of these questions are perfectly valid questions. Well, except the question like, you know, does it make you feel stupid to feel this insecure? You know, because people could do that, which wouldn't, you know, hopefully not in a coaching setting, but in slightly less overt ways. This still happens a lot in coaching as well. But all of the questions that we've just shared have assumptions in them, don't they? So maybe we can pick one and pick it apart a little bit to show what happens when we do this. So when I say, I just feel so insecure, I don't have any pen and paper, so we're just doing this off the cuff of our hands. One of the questions that we wouldn't ask was, why do you feel you're feeling insecure, right? So why wouldn't, what makes it different? Or how does it lead when we ask that question?
It implies that there's a reason, first of all, and there mightn't be. It also implies, I as a coach take it as a given that you feel insecure, which mightn't even be. I don't know. I don't even know that. I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, just doing this together, just kind of feeling into it. There's so many layers of it, and some of them are quite subtle. I love what you're saying about you know, you're taking it as if they are feeling insecure. In that moment, they might not feel insecure at all. They're just thinking about something that sometimes happens for them. And I think the why, I think what you say about it presupposes a reason. It also presupposes that the reasons that we dream up with our logical minds have, you know, are relevant.
That's right.
It's like, because there is so many things that go on inside of us, you know, that might make someone feel insecure, that they might know some of it on on their conscious mind level, but actually they probably know maybe half the story or the reason in between brackets. And we get so hung up in our world about our mental models, our cause and effects, our analysis about what happens for people. And we think that the answers and the way to get to change are through this analysis, through this figuring out the why question. And it's just not very helpful, right? Especially as we know that there's so, you know, there's so much more powerful way to get to change, and that's with the questions that we do use. So, you know, it's a good time to change that around and say, if I come to you with, and I share this with you, what would you ask about this?
Considering that you probably do not want to keep feeling insecure, I would ask you, and when you feel insecure, what would you like to have happen?
Yeah, it's a $1 million question, isn't it? It's that question that really shifts our attention towards the possibilities, about inviting the future, inviting a different way of being. And first of all, pay that a really big load of attention before we get to figure out a little bit more about the insecure, because the insecure also has keys in it. But yeah, we would definitely want to go there first, wouldn't we? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know, if I dream up an answer to that question that could be in line with that, it would be something like, oh, I just want to feel free to live and be as I am, for example. And then we would look at that, right? We would jump in on that and look at what that would be, what that would mean for them. Yeah.
Like, and what kind of free is that free?
Yeah, exactly. So we're really just going with the flow of what the client really longs for, isn't it? And that's the way that we use questions to stay really, really, really close to what is real and true and happening for our clients in the moment. And we're not interested that much in their mental the circles, the circles that they go through in their minds,
and the stories.
And gosh, yes, the stories. Yeah, picking it all apart. And I don't know, I don't know about you. Well, I do know a little bit about you. But I know, I know that there's been, if I were to go back to my teenage self, or actually even my middle school self, if I could just tell her, Miss Annemiek, to go, don't believe your thoughts. Don't believe your thoughts. And ask yourself, what would you like to have happen? That would be such a time saver.
Wouldn't it?
It would probably have kept me sane and avoided some depressions as well. But oh my goodness, doesn't that make a difference if we stop putting such an emphasis on trying to analyze and ask ourselves, why me? Why this? Why can't it be different? Yeah. God, yeah.
And because we don't ask all those whys, our questions seem a bit strange.
Yeah.
The what kind of is one of those questions where people would say, what do you mean? But only in the very beginning, and then it flows.
Yeah, people get used to this very quickly, don't they?
Yeah.
And thank you for coming back to that, for what makes them weird. I think you're right. The questions ask people to step outside of what they know or what they think they know about how life works or how they work or how coaching works. But yeah, when they allow themselves to just feel into the answer, then they know the answers, and they recognize that the answers come from a much deeper place, a very different place that has so much more potential and wisdom and fun and resources than what they usually have access to. Yeah.
And that's the power, I think, of these questions, because when the coach is totally out of the picture and just asks these really clean questions, there's nothing left but the client's truth. And that is really the client's truth, and not tainted by the coach's assumptions or
translations into how it makes sense to them. As we were talking, there's a butterfly going around here through the garden, which is just the most beautiful metaphor for change, isn't it? And this is why I think that powerful energy that is unleashed when we stay so close to what is true for somebody. This is that Shakti knowing, isn't it? What we talk about. It has an unparalleled capacity for transformation. Goes way beyond any other way of trying to make changes.
And you know what? I think, sorry, but
that is on.
So. I think this is the reason why it works so fast. It usually works so fast.
Yeah.
You can really, within one session or two or three, definitely after three, you'll certainly have reached a point where something has changed.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because of all of that other stuff that we normally get thrown in, just doesn't need to be dealt with. So we can really get to the heart, to the essence of what needs to happen. Yeah, gorgeous. Beautiful. I think this is enough
Mm,
for today's snippet.
yeah.
So, on unusual and weird questions and how they unleash a power that is unparalleled when it comes to change. Thank you, Sigrun. Thank you for
Yes,
having this
thank
little.
you. It worked at last.
Exactly. Let's make sure that everybody can watch this now as well. So, thank you for watching this in this way and ask your questions and join us in one of the free workshops if you want to experience this for yourself as well. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, day, everyone.
Yeah, you too.
Bye. Thank you, Sigrun.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.